straight from the automotive industry event of the year, NADA 2025. Chicks in Charge and Authenticom are bringing you the biggest names in automotive. From industry disruptors to game-changing innovators, we're getting the inside scoop on what's next for the auto world. This is where leaders talk and the future takes shape. Are you ready? Buckle up and let's dive in.
Welcome back to another episode of Chicks in Charge. It is still day one of NADA. Is it considered day one? I don't know.
Day one and a half. One and a half, maybe.
Party started last night, so maybe we're at 1.5. I had two guests that I love so much that I had to smush them in together, and luckily they're good buddies, so they let me do it. On my immediate left, we have JR Toothman of Toothman Auto, and on his left, we have Scott Simons, who is consulting and now with Agile Auto, which both of you are, correct?
That's correct.
That is awesome. So when I found out that you two were connected, I was like, hold on a second. I got to track down this rabbit trail of how you two know each other, because I worked with JR for several years, and then you've been doing amazing things in the industry. Everybody knows your name. Everybody's connected with you. How did this relationship come to start?
John Ellis and I have been working on a used car management tool for the last couple years that we just feel is needed in this market as the market continues to transition and people look for more growth opportunities. And as we were growing it, we're like, we want to put as many great minds on the team together as possible. And when I saw that Scott was potentially making a transition or transitioning away from other parts, I thought that's the guy, because we've had dealings together and have a great deal of respect for his automotive acumen, his experience, his contacts, that type of thing. He's just a well-rounded guy, and it's been a great connection for all of us.
For sure. And I would say, knowing both of you and seeing all of the things you guys are doing, you guys align culturally very well. Like you are both very people-oriented, leading, not managing, and having a really good, solid team that executes and makes where you are a difference in the community.
And thank you for saying that. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
It's I love the podcast, and I've watched a lot of the shows to anticipate any questions you may ask. And you've done a fantastic job, and thank you for having us. So JR and I'm originally from West Virginia. His dealership's in West Virginia, and we connected through a couple of mutual friends. And I said, how is he in the middle of nowhere?
Literally.
And I say that respectfully for the state of West Virginia, but like literally in the side of a mountain that doesn't hardly get any sunshine. What is this?
How are you selling so many cars?
How is this brother hillbilly selling like 300 plus cars a month in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
So I said, hey, I know a little bit about social media. I'll come speak to your team about social media. But I really went there to learn from JR. Like, how is he doing this?
Yeah.
It's like, are these real numbers?
Oh, yeah.
And when I went there, I saw the tools he used, and then he pulled up Agile Auto. And I'm like, what's this? Because I'm trying to find everybody that's in the auto industry wants that secret weapon.
Yeah.
Like, what's he doing that I can go emulate and share with other people? And he was so gracious to allow me to come speak to his teams. And it's like, hey, I'm an open book, man. Because people can tell you exactly and show you what they do, but very few people can execute.
Yeah.
But anyway, I saw this tool, Agile Auto, started asking questions. I knew that John Ellis was involved, which I knew John through the dealerships I was affiliated with before. Mad respect for John. Got friends with JR, and they said, hey, you're in this transition right now. Let's talk. And I'm like, yeah. So we got together, and they created an opportunity for me as a strategic advisor, which I'm like, man, that sounds fancy. And they're like, what exactly do I need to do? And they're like, just help us perfect this tool to help dealers.
Yeah.
We want you involved because you're a car dealer. You've operated dealerships. I've had great teams, and we want you to join our team. And, how can I lose or say no with those two people and then the team that they built and the reputation?
Yeah.
So we really want to help car dealers during this transition. There's a lot of car dealerships that are not effectively, the used car inventory it's two areas I feel like that you need to focus on. It's used cars and it's service.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of bad habits created during COVID.
Seriously.
We had them too. So we truly want to help our brothers and sisters in the auto industry, and we feel like Agile Auto is going to do that.
Yeah, it's very needed. I mean, I literally was talking with the general manager of the dealership that I've been buying from for years the other day, and I'm like, listen, like we're almost at the point of going to a different place. And as an inside joke, my husband and I met at this dealership. Like we both worked there. Like this was home to us at one point. And so I'm like, man, it's been rough. The service department is not what it used to be. This, that, and the other. And he's like, I don't understand. All of our CSI scores are up. And I'm like, okay, do you also know that they're printing out the CSI answers with every service done? Like, of course your CSI scores are up, but what are your customers saying? Like, are you actually talking to them and asking them? Because as somebody who loves this dealership and is loyal to no end, like I've almost reached my end. And so the industry has made so many changes over the last several years. And I will tell you, Scott wasn't even kidding when he says JR store is in the middle of nowhere. Like I went there and thought I was lost. The GPS said I was like a 1/10 of a mile away. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. There's no way. Where, like, I'm in farmland. There was like an old dilapidated church right down the road. I don't know where I am right now. And then you turn the corner and this beautiful Ford store is just sitting there with all this inventory out front. You've got another lot right down the road. And you're like, I already knew how many cars you sold because I was your BDC at the time. And I'm like, how are we doing this? Like, how is this happening? And it's everything that you have put into motion. You have invested in your community so incredibly much, almost in the whole state, really. I mean, like West Virginia is your state. That is your blood and sweat and tears in that state. And you have made such an impact, and it's unlike any dealer I've ever seen. And I want to know, like, what started that for you?
I think it's just a matter of it's home. I mean, it's where I was born and raised.
Yeah.
It's where my kids have been raised. And I feel like all of us in this industry, we've been blessed with opportunities of growth, and you got to work for it. But I feel like it's our obligation to kind of pay it forward.
Right.
Because our community supports us. I need to support them, that type of thing. And everybody's got their different views on that as far as, and I don't care if it hurts the bottom line a little bit here, a little bit there, if it means helping the greater good.
Yeah.
And kind of like with this product, selfishly speaking, it's like you could be a one-hit wonder, but we want to give people a product that's going to give them a chance to have sustainable success.
Exactly.
It's like I've mentioned, in my managers meetings, many times, maybe one of the greatest bands of all time is the Beatles. But I said, let's look at the Rolling Stones. They've been doing it for what, 50, 60 years, because they were able to overcome those hurdles, those egos, all the stuff that goes into that. And that's sustainable success.
Yeah.
And we feel like we got an opportunity to give them kind of the playbook for that. And you, like Scott said, it still takes a lot of hard work to do it. You still got to execute it, but at least you got the playbook in front of you.
Exactly. And the cool thing is that you've had the ability to test the functionality of Agile the whole time because you've been implementing it in the dealership.
Yeah, we were kind of the guinea pig. I mean, a lot of the fruition of it came from some of the successes and failures that we've had.
Yeah.
And like I tell my team and my kids all the time, we learn way more from our failures than we do our successes.
Right.
I mean, that's the way life works. In school, they teach you the lesson, give you the test. In business, you get the test and then you learn the lesson. And so we've learned a lot from that, and we've grown a long way to come up with a product that we are very proud of.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys do a great job. You're selling a lot of cars.
Well,
You have
thank you.
great retention. Your loyalty is through the freaking roof. What has it been like getting to now be on the side of this? You went in and saw, okay, this is how the store runs. And now you guys get to work together. You get to learn more about it. How has it been for you and all of your experience that you bring to the table?
Well, it's been a great experience. I tell you, the transition from retail has been very weird.
Yeah. Because you had almost 30 years, right?
Yeah, 29 years. And for 23 years, I was a general manager and went to a car dealership. And I remember the first Saturday that I'm typically going to do a sales meeting. And I got up that morning, same time, got ready like I was going to go to work. And my wife was like, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I have no idea." Like,
What do normal people do on Saturdays?
Like, what do I do? I'm lost. I'm sitting around. I'm like, do I make breakfast? Like, Like, what do I do? And then, like, after a couple of days, it's kind of cool, to have your husband around. But apparently, it's not that cool because my wife's like, "You walked 6 miles on the back deck yesterday on your cell phone, and in a circle, and it's not as big as this room right here, like just the living room." She goes, "You got to find something to do." And I said, "Honey, don't worry. I'm going to find something to do. I assure you." So, it's different. It's much different because now I'm consulting and now, I'm a strategic advisor. But that transition for someone that's ever been in retail, you've been in retail. And then when you get out of retail, it's a hard, whether it was your choice, their choice, it doesn't matter. That is a hard transition. So I can't imagine for someone that retires. I know, you hear where people work, then they retire and then they die because it's like they forgot the reason to get up.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I'll admit there was a couple of times there I kind of went in a little bit of a dark space.
Yeah.
And my wife had to say, "Okay, get up. Yeah, I know you're getting up and working out, but like instead of going to work, I'd come back home, eat a nice breakfast. I kind of lay back down and take a nap." She goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm taking a nap." She goes, "This is not like you. Like, you got to get up and get going because when
you're
you do
such
that."
a creature of habit too.
Yeah.
Like you had this intense schedule, like up at 4 a.m., going to play racquetball,
Yeah.
all of this stuff.
So anybody that goes through that, the advice I'll give you is this: stay in your habits. I still shaved, although there was times I didn't. My wife goes, you look like shit. You need to shave. Plus it's rough. Like, don't be touching me. You look like you're homeless. And then my friends got me a shirt that says, "Consultant sounds better than unemployed." And then they got me a t-shirt that said, "I'm the unemployed friend." And I wore them and joke around, and you gotta, life's too short not to have fun.
Exactly.
I'm going to always smile. I'm always going to have fun. I'm always going to try to be a positive in whatever circle I'm in or whatever environment I'm in. If you're in a bad mood around me, you're in a really bad mood.
Yeah.
Because life's just too short. But I will tell you, stay creature habit, stay extremely positive, stay busy. So when they came knocking and I was doing consulting, I'm like, this sounds great. One, I admired them. So, but looking at it from a different, like we had a breakfast this morning and there was a lot of people that missed. Well, I was disappointed because we put a lot of hard work in there, but it wasn't our fault. We had a lot of people sign up, but people didn't show up because a lot of people canceled. So I know from a vendor side, there's a lot of vendors here that spend a lot of money and attendance is down and they're disappointed because they had such high aspirations and wanted to sign a bunch of people up. But you just got to stay positive.
Yeah.
And when you stay positive and you build your personal brand, luckily, even during that transition, I knew I had nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Like I literally, not to be arrogant, I've been 3 or 4 people's like, "Hey, I want to talk to you." Yeah. Like dealers are like, "I want to talk to you. If you want to get back in retail, like, do you want to get back in retail?" I'm like, "I'm thinking about it. Call me." And that's a testament to my big network that I've got and try to put positive things out there on social media.
Yeah. And it's funny for someone like me on the vendor side who sees people like you guys in the dealer space and it's like, dude, only one business gets to experience you guys. Like you're one of a kind. Each of you are one of a kind. And the fact that the rest of the world doesn't get to learn from you is just a damn shame. And so I think that's a good opportunity to use Agile for that and to be, those guiding lights and to utilize the things that you guys have learned along the way in your years and years and years of doing this and what works and what doesn't. But like, we're actually proving it. We're doing it right now. We're proving that it works and it's not just fluff and smoke.
Well, the thing that's really cool about it too, I mean, John is a trained economist, worked for Cox for 20 some odd years.
Yep.
But then Scott and I have a combined, 60 years boots on the ground. I mean,
we're not 60.
No.
No, combined. 60 years ago.
We're not 60. We may look at it. These are
dog years.
Dog years. Woo, I mean, them miles are rough.
Yeah, it's like aging dog years.
Yeah, it's like rough black book high miles. You got some check engine lights.
Dirty,
a little oil.
Dirty Carfax.
Exactly.
But the bottom line, I mean, that's all that combined experience of boots on the ground, being in the dealership, leading teams, leading processes, having the highs and lows of that. And I think sometimes you talk to vendors or you're speaking to people and they can tell you about the technical side as far as how it looks on software, how it looks, that type of thing, but they can't tell you how it's applicable and how it's going to work.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. So in the tool, we were looking at it and fantastic software. fantastic company. And I said, hey, wait a minute, we don't have wholesale Lawson. Because we would give a report of our dealerships, there was quite a few on there, and this dealer would be like, I have 3,200 front end gross. And then I would look at ours, and ours was like 25 front end gross on used cars. But then when we got the financial report, one, they spent way too much money in advertising, their personnel expenses way higher, and we killed them on net profit. But all the calls they would sound so much better than us. Well, that's because we were making money in wholesale, which not a lot of people do. They were losing money, substantial amount.
Yep.
So you've got to take into account, what are you making in wholesale profit? Because that affects your PVR.
Yep.
That wasn't in the tool at first. And then another part of it we put in was we're constantly adding to this tool. So there was two things that I brought up, but both the things are like, we didn't even think about that. Because it's another set of eyes. It's kind of like you go into a business and you have stuff on the wall that is 3 years old. You walk by it every day.
Yeah, you don't even know it's there.
And now you have someone come in that gives you some advice, and they're like, hey, anything older than a year, it's got to come off. Because you don't want to look like, you don't have, hey, buy this 2019 Santa Fe, and you're like, it's 2025.
Yeah.
Like, get the old stuff off there.
Exactly.
So when you can have someone that has experience and show up and get your ass kicked and be able to know what the dealers are going through right now, which, I'm very optimistic about this year.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic with the change in White House from a business perspective, not getting political, but from a business perspective. I think dealer sentiment is really high. I think that rates are going to come down. I think cost of fuel will come down.
Yeah.
And I think that's all positive news for us dealers, people in the auto industry, and even for us as a vendor, because we want the dealers to win. We want them to win.
Well, there's definitely, like you said, a new fiery energy this year, and it's been kind of the topic of conversation of a lot of the shows I've done today. Is what's coming forward in 2025, and a lot of it is everybody's going to focus more on the customer. We're going to start listening to the customer and what they want, and we're going to deliver on it, and then we're going to build a relationship with that customer. And it's been so long since I've heard that. It's like refreshing, because every year it's, we're going to be focusing on making more front end profits or back end profits or getting our ROIs tightened up, and it's like the same shit, different year. Same shit, different year. So I think that the snowstorm really kind of thinned our crew. And the people who are here are the people that are going to be here to make a difference. And I think that's huge.
Well, it's like in our breakfast this morning, it came up repeatedly. We had a guest in there, Frank Gore, that, probably be in the Hall of Fame next year. And he was talking about the basics of what his craft was. And we were all talking about it. During COVID, we got away from blocking and tackling. It was easy. Salespeople that hadn't been in the business very long were making big paychecks and not having to work very hard for it, that type of thing. Now we're, the last, 6 months of this year, even maybe whatever portion of this year, we're going to get back to the blocking and tackling and keep a focus on that. And I think that's the one big thing that is the focus of this year. We got to get back to the basics. We should have never gotten away from them, but we got to get back.
Yeah. What happened in the industry was out of our control for the most part. I mean, we look at the people who were charging $15,000 to $25,000 over MSRP for shit that wasn't worth it, and we're in the boat we've been in now. But it's getting better, and it's in our control now.
What I'm proud to say is both of us were retailers during that time. We neither one charged one customer $1 over MSRP.
Yeah.
Never did. And I even got laughed at in 20 groups and meetings. They laughed at me. Like almost
but
like
guess what? Your customers can trade in now.
That's correct. And we were extremely successful, but you were almost shamed like you're weak by not charging over sticker in the dealer world.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that we did in one time.
Yeah. And it's always about being customer first. And your salespeople didn't take the hits that other people did in that time because of that. I can almost guarantee it.
Well, and the other thing, I know the pain, because I saw guys making way more money than they were accustomed to, or maybe even should have. And I was like, but I felt like we were doing the right thing, the right thing by our people, by our customers, that type of thing. And now I think those dealers that were doing that, I think they're having a harder time adjusting to this new market, because they got really used to that.
Yeah.
And they haven't adapted. And I think, it's not the smartest or strongest, it's the fastest to adapt that survives.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot of dealerships close down this year that can't hang anymore, and we're going to find the strong ones thrive and really just kind of take over that market. And maybe we even see some buy sells. That would be really interesting to see. I know we've talked around about Agile, but I really want the listeners to know what it is and how to know if they need it. So if we have a dealer listening, if we have anybody who's, in a management position in a dealership, how do you know I need Agile Auto?
If you need to grow your, if you have a growth opportunity in your used vehicle department, that's one. If you're having an aging problem, that's a situation. Like Scott alluded to, if you're having extreme wholesale losses by a lack of management of the department, that's another thing we focus on. And the one thing, and I think a lot of times people were, acquisition is like a buzzword this year.
It is.
Well, there's a lot of different channels of acquisition. Is it going to come direct from consumer? Is it going to come from the auction? Is it going to come from a trade? That type of thing. So we break down those channels to let you know what is most profitable, where you should be spending your efforts, and fine tuning those to make you the most profit opportunities.
Yeah, the tool is amazing technology. With John at the helm, and with having access to JR and even myself, there's a lot that we can add even outside the tool. Now, the tool, if utilized, will help make your used car department more efficient and more profitable.
Yeah.
If you have multiple rooftops, it's going to make it very easy to hold your people accountable. This tool is more proactive instead of reactive.
Good.
Typically,
that's what we
with
need.
car dealers, we're very reactive, not proactive. So you'll have a really good used car month, and then you'll have a bad month because you didn't replenish, and because you didn't know how to replenish and you didn't know what to replenish it with. Well, this tool will say, these are the ones that you should purchase. These are the ones that you should stay away from. And then if you don't go acquire this many cars this week in these buckets, purchase from public, trade-in, purchase from public, purchase through service, and then purchase at auction. What dealers will do is say, we need cars. Go buy 40 cars at auction.
Oh, God.
You're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
You're going to be in trouble. Then you're going to call Enterprise and say, ship me all those cars. And then, well, I wonder why I got an aging problem. Well, because they had a high day supply and you should have never bought them in the first place.
Exactly.
So they do such knee-jerk reactions. And guess what? I know because I was one of them.
Yep.
I was them. That was me.
Yep.
So when I saw that tool and I saw how much better JR did, and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand.
I will tell you, granted, compared to you guys, I'm a baby in the industry. I've been doing this 11 years. I have never seen an operation like JR's anywhere else. And especially when it comes to acquisition.
So guess what else you got? Not only do you have the tool, but then you've got access to us. So I charge people right now for consulting. I'm sorry, actually, I'm probably should say I feel like a high-class hooker sometimes with what I'm charging, right? Because I'm not cheap.
Yeah.
Well, if you call through Agile and you need my help, we'll jump on the phone with you.
For free.
Like for free.
Right.
For free.
Did you hear that?
So what's that worth? To pick JR's brain that has the receipts. This ain't somebody that's saying it. If you want to see someone that performed at a very high level, net to sales, that performed, won President's Award 23 years in a row, blah, 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 and see JR selling 300 used cars, and then you have John Ellis. When John speaks, I shut up.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to believe I ever shut up, but when he speaks,
Yeah.
JR, see how we get on so well. But when John speaks, he's like E.F. Hutton, I shut up.
Yeah.
Right? So you had access to those three minds, and I'm having trouble acquiring. What did you do? Or I'm having trouble. Well, where are you purchasing?
Yep.
Where else? What other company can you get that much experience to get access to?
Were you in the clubhouse room this morning?
We were during our.
Okay, so there was a clubhouse room this morning that I was listening to while I was getting ready, and that exact question came up, and it was a group of people here at NADA, and they're like, I just started work. It was another vendor. He's like, I just started working with a dealership, and they're in a really rural area, and they're trying to figure out how to do acquisitions. They're not having any luck on any of the sites, blah, blah, blah. That exact question was asked this morning, and David Long was the one to answer it.
And David's a sharp. I mean, he's opened up how many buying centers?
Oh,
like
I think
80?
he said.
Yeah,
I think it was
it's like crazy.
somewhere in the 80s. Yeah, 84 or something.
So he
like
would
that.
be a good one. But from a software company or from where do you have that much experience? I mean, John's older than us. He's probably more 40 years in the auto industry. So 30, 30.
Yeah, I think John's like 78.
Yes. Yeah, maybe 80. So maybe 50.
Oh, of course he's not here to defend himself
So
anymore.
maybe
Where'd he go?
50 or 60 years now. He may be 60 years in the auto industry because he's pushing 80. So you got 30, 30, and 60. Well, that's 120 years worth of experience.
There you go.
I mean, he was selling Model Ts. But anyway, no, he rode a horse. He was even before the Model T.
Yeah.
Thank God John's not here.
Yeah.
He likes to work out.
He'd be jumping up here
he
so
might
fast.
be putting me in like a headlock or scissors or something here.
You guys all three together. I mean, I'm speechless trying to come up with the word for how good this is. Like
Thanks.
this is meant to be.
Thank you.
And
Well, we appreciate it. I mean, I
think
think the thing that makes it work too is like, I mean, obviously, I mean, just like in your business or that type of, you got an ego. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to win. You don't want to get your ass beat,
Yeah.
that type of thing. But we also, like, I don't have a problem picking up the phone, calling Scott. Hey, what would you do in this situation?
Right.
You know, and same thing with him, you know, the bet you want to learn, you
Exactly.
know, and we got to keep evolving and learning until the day we're out of it.
You know, in school, when you cheated off, when you looked at someone and took answers, it's called cheating. In business, it's called best practices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid.
Entrepreneurship.
Hey, if somebody's doing it better than me, I'll write it down.
Exactly.
I'm not too proud because then I don't have to come up with it.
Exactly.
But we're also innovators too. The three of us think like innovators. Like we were having trouble acquiring used cars. So one thing that we did was we had some talented people that we trained them to buy on Facebook Marketplace. So if they bought, we gave them a 250 Mini plus it counted as a unit. And I did it for a short amount of time, and we bought a lot of used cars.
Yeah.
So we extended it. It's still going on, and I left in October.
Exactly.
And I think it's been going on for probably a year. If you acquire a car from anybody, we will pay you a unit. Well, one guy sold 35 cars one month, 18 sales, 17 bought.
Wow.
He bought one off Facebook Marketplace and sold it like within 2 days. So he got paid to buy it,
That's
paid to sell it.
hilarious.
Then they had a trade, and then he sold their trade. So he got paid on one purchase. He sold 3
Wow.
cars. He got paid on 3 cars on one purchase.
And to think there's so many dealerships out there that don't even have buying centers.
Yes.
Well, the other thing, and I
Like
see,
that's how far behind we are.
and the other thing, I think some dealers get short-sighted. I've sat in these 20 group meetings, and he has, and they're like, well, why would you pay that same guy 3 times? Because that's what the pay plan was.
Money in, money out, brother.
Because that's what it was paid to do.
Yeah.
You
Guess
know?
what? I was happy to do it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I'll do it for everybody. Everybody else can do it too. We pulled him up front and celebrated. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
remember how much money he made, but it was quite a bit of cash he made because
Exactly.
it was bought off the street and then sold for good gross. Bought off street. There's
Yeah.
a second bucket where you're going to in profitability. Profitability is trade, buy off street, you know, then service, and then auction typically. And you can 2 and 3 can swap in some places. So all three
You were
of
still
them.
in the positive at the end of the day too.
Yeah.
We were all happy.
And then you build up morale too, because you gave him he or she an extra income opportunity. So.
I told him, I hope I have to pay you with the Brinks truck.
Exactly.
I hope I need
right?
armed guards to pay you. Because guess what? We got paid too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll never pay you more than I pay me.
That's
so,
right.
I mean,
Yeah, that
no, you guys are doing great things in the industry. I can't wait to see where Agile goes. This is really exciting, and I really want people to learn more about it, to get connected with you guys, and really learn about what you guys are doing and how you're changing the industry. What is the best way to find out more about Agile? Do you guys have a website?
yes.
I assume so.
Yes.
What is the
Yeah,
website?
you can just go to Agile Auto. You can Google it, comes right up. My email is scott@agileauto.com. I think you're jr@agileauto.com. My cell phone is 540-607-6534. That's like not some fake number or somebody that's going to text you like
I
that's
texted him earlier. I can
yeah,
verify.
that's my real number. So if there's anything I can do for you, please reach out. And thank you so much for having us on.
Absolutely. Thank you
I've
guys
been
both for
looking
coming.
forward to this. I love the show.
Thank you.
And you're doing a lot for the auto industry, and you've really blown up. And I can't wait to see me. Your face was on an escalator.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, I know her. I'm gonna go on her show.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
We've heard, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, we've heard that there is another wall somewhere that has a big picture of us on it, and we haven't seen it yet. So if you see it, I need to know where
Well,
it is.
if I find the wall, I'm gonna draw
Yeah.
a Fu Manchu on you. Just so you know.
That's fine. That's fine. And, honestly, my face is around here too much. Like 3 places is too much. We're in the food court, on the escalator, and wherever the hell the other one is.
Wow.
So I'll find that one on the wall.
For
But like Scott said, I mean, I want to give you a shout out for you're bringing an energy to the car business that it needs, because everybody feels like, and even I did when I first started coming to these things, I feel like, oh, everybody's so buttoned up, I don't need to be here. I mean, I'm out of my element. We need some of that energy, and
Yeah.
it's refreshing to see it. So
Yeah,
thank you.
it's this is so much fun, and it is needed, and we've got to start having these good conversations and sharing the wins. And I think people were so afraid for so long to share what was going well for them because they didn't want somebody else to steal it and it take away from them. And we've realized me sharing only makes me win more. And so that's what we all have to keep doing as an industry. Keep sharing what you're doing. Keep sharing what's failing for you so that other people can know that too. And that's exactly what you guys have done with Agile, and it's perfect. And I hope that we have everybody who listens check out the website, reach out to you guys, because I know this tool is needed. I know that if it has anything to do with how much success this guy's had and it's working there, freaking do it. I promise you, I've seen it in person. There's nothing like it.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you
guys
so
so
much
much.
for
Appreciate you having
taking
I
the
hope you
time
guys
with us.
have a good show. Guys, we're going to wrap it up here. We have one more episode left today for day one. But this one was great. Probably, if I'm being a little biased, probably my favorite so far. So be sure
She
to check
says
out
that every
Agile.
time.
I haven't yet. I promise I haven't.
She did.
Check out Agile Auto and learn more about it. Connect with JR, connect with Scott, and John Ellis. You didn't see him on camera. He is here. Make sure to connect with him too. There's a wealth of knowledge between the three of them, and you'd be stupid not to learn from them. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
This episode is brought to you by Authenticom, the business behind the automotive business. And this is Chicks in Charge Automotive Edition, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Help us grow. Rate and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.